Section 82 Pulastya said, O thou of excellent vows, I have been much gratified with thy humility, thy self control, and thy truth. Thou blessed one versed in morality, O sinless one, it is for this virtue of thine, which thou hast acquired from regard to thy ancestors, that I have been gratified with thee, and thou hast, O son, obtained a sight of my person. O Bhishma, my eyes can penetrate into everything. Tell me what I may do for thee. O sinless one, O thou foremost of the Kuru race, I will grant thee whatever thou mayst ask me. Bhishma said, O highly blessed one, when thou, who art worshipped by the three worlds, hast been gratified with me, and when I have obtained a sight of thy exalted self, I regard myself as already crowned with success. But O thou foremost of virtuous persons, if I have deserved thy favour, I will tell thee my doubts, and it behoveth thee to dispel them. O Holy One, I have some religious doubts in respect of Tirthas. Speak of those to me in detail. I desire to hear thee. O thou that resemblest a celestial himself, what is his merit, O regenerate Rishi, who goeth round the whole earth, visiting shrines? O tell me this what with certainty. Pulastya said, O son, listen with attention. I will tell thee of the merit which attacheth to Tirthas and which constitute the refuge of the Rishis. He whose hands and feet and mind and knowledge and asceticism and acts are under wholesome control enjoyeth the fruits of Tirthas. He who has ceased to accept gifts, he that is contented, he that is free from pride, enjoys the fruits of Tirthas. He that is without sin, he that acts without purpose, he that eats light, he that has his senses under control, he that is free from every sin, enjoys the fruits of Tirthas. O King, he that is free from anger, he that adhereth to truth, he that is firm in vows, he that regardeth all creatures as his own self, enjoyeth the fruits of Tirthas. In the Vedas, the Rishis have declared in due order the sacrifices and also their fruits here and hereafter. Truly, O Lord of earth, those sacrifices cannot be accomplished by him that is poor, for those sacrifices require various materials and diverse things in large measures. These, therefore, can be performed by kings or sometimes by other men of prosperity and wealth. O Lord of men, that right, however, which men without wealth, without allies, singly, without wife and children, and destitute of means, are capable of accomplishing, and the merit of which is equal unto the sacred fruits of sacrifices, I will now declare unto thee, thou best of warriors, O thou best of the Bharata race. Sojourns in Tirthas, which are meritorious and which constitute one of the high mysteries of the Rishis, are even superior to sacrifices. He is a poor man who, having gone to a Tirtha, hath not fasted for 3 nights, who hath not given away gold, and who hath not distributed kine. Indeed, one acquireth not by the performance of Agnishotma and other sacrifices, distinguished by large gifts, that merit which one acquireth by a sojourn to a Tirtha. In the world of men there is that Tirtha of the God of gods, celebrated over the 3 worlds by the name of Pushkara. One that sojourneth there becometh equal unto that deity. O high-souled son of the Kuru race, during the 2 twilights and midday there is the presence of 100,000 millions of Tirthas in Pushkara. The Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Sadyas, the Marutas, the Gandharvas, and the Apsaras are ever present, O exalted one, in Pushkara. It was there, O king, that the gods, the Daityas and Brahma Rishis, having performed ascetic devotions, there obtained great merit and finally attained to godhood. Men of self-control, by even thinking mentally of Pushkara, are cleansed from their sins and regarded in heaven. O king, the illustrious grandsire, having the lotus for his seat, had dwelt with great pleasure in this Tirtha. O blessed one, it was in Pushkara that the gods with the rishis, having acquired of old great merit, finally obtained the highest success. The person who devoted to the worship of the gods and the Pitris batheth in this Tirtha, obtaineth, it hath been said by the wise, merit that is equal to 10 times that of the horse sacrifice. Having gone to the Pushkara woods, he that feedeth even one Brahmana becometh happy here and hereafter, O Bhishma, for that act. He that supporteth himself on vegetables and roots and fruits may with pious regard and without disrespect give even such fare to a Brahmana. And O best of kings, the man of wisdom, even by such a gift, will acquire the merit of a horse sacrifice. Those illustrious persons among Brahmanas or Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Sudras that bathe in Pushkara are freed from the obligation of rebirth. That man in special who visits Pushkara on the full moon of the month of Kartika acquireth everlasting regions in the abode of Brahma. He that thinketh with joined hands morning and evening of the Pushkara practically batheth, O Bharata, in every Tirtha, whether a male or a female, whatever sins one may commit since birth are all destroyed as soon as one batheth in Pushkara, as the slayer of Madhu is the foremost of all the celestials, so is Pushkara, O king, the foremost of all Tirthas. A man, by residing with purity and regulated vows for 12 years in Pushkara, acquireth the merit of all the sacrifices, and goeth to the abode of Brahma. The merit of one who performeth the Agnihotra for full 100 years is equal to that of him who resideth for the single month of Kartika in Pushkara. There are 3 white hillocks and 3 springs known from the remotest times. We do not know why, by the name of the Pushkaras. It is difficult to go to Pushkara. It is difficult to undergo ascetic austerities at Pushkara. It is difficult to give away at Pushkara. And it is difficult to leave at Pushkara. Having dwelt for 12 nights at Pushkara with regulated diet and vows, and have walked round the place, one must go to Jambu Marga, one that goeth to Jambu Marga, which is resorted to by the celestials, the rishis and the pitris, acquireth the merit of the horse sacrifice and the fruition of all wishes. The man that resideth there for 5 nights hath his soul cleansed from all sins. He never sinketh into hell, but acquireth high success. Leaving Jambu Marga, one must go to Tanduli Kasrama. He that goeth there never sinketh into hell, but ascendeth to the abode of Brahma. He that goeth to the lake of Agastya, and occupieth himself with the worship of the Pitris and Celestials, fasting for 3 nights, acquireth, O king, the fruit of the Agniostama. Going thither, he that liveth on vegetables or fruits, acquireth the status called Kaumara. One should next proceed to the beautiful asylum of Kanva, who is worshipped by the whole world. That sacred wood, characterized by holiness, existeth, O bull of the Bharata race, from very remote times. As soon as one entereth it, he is freed from all sins. He who with regulated diet and vows worshippeth the Pitris and the gods there obtaineth the fruit of a sacrifice that is capable of bestowing the fruition of all one's desires. Having walked round this asylum, one must then go to the spot where Hayati fell from heaven. He that goeth thither acquireth the merit of a horse sacrifice. One must then go to Mahakala with regulated diet and senses subdued, and having bathed in the Tirtha called Koti, one obtained the merit of a horse sacrifice. A virtuous man should next proceed to the Tirtha of Sthanu, the husband of Uma, known over the three worlds by the name of Bhadravata. That best of men who goeth to Bhadravata beholdeth Isana and obtaineth the fruit of a gift of 1,000 kine, and through the grace of Mahadeva he acquireth the status of Ganapatya, blessed with prosperity and peace and high grace. Having arrived then at the Narmada, that river celebrated over the three worlds, and given oblations of water to the Pitris and the gods, one acquireth the fruit of the horse sacrifice. He that goeth into the southern ocean, practicing the brahmacharya mode of life, and with senses subdued, acquireth the fruit of the Agniostama sacrifice, and ascendeth to heaven. Having arrived at Charmanavati with regulated diet and senses subdued, one acquireth at the command of Rantideva the merit of Agnishtoma sacrifice. One must then go, virtuous chief of warriors, to Aruda, the son of Himavat, where there was a hole through the earth in days of yore. There is the asylum of Vasishtha, celebrated over the three worlds. Having resided for one night, one obtained the merit of the gift of 1,000 kine. He that, leading a brahmacharya mode of life, batheth in the Tirtha called Pinga, obtained, O tiger among kings, the merit of the gift of 100 Kapila kine. One must next go, O king, to the excellent Tirtha called Prabhasa. There Uttasana is always present in his own person. He, the friend of Pavana, O hero, is the mouth of all the gods. The man that with subdued and sanctified soul batheth in that Tirtha obtaineth merit greater than that of Agnishtoma or Atiratra sacrifices. Proceeding next to the spot where the Saraswati mingled with the sea, one obtained the fruit of the gift of 1,000 kine, and heaven also, besides, O bull of the Bharata race, blazing forth of all time like Agni himself. He that with subdued soul batheth in the Tirtha of the King of waters, and giveth oblations of water unto the Pitris and gods, living there for 3 nights, blazeth forth like the moon, and obtaineth also the fruit of the horse sacrifice. One should next proceed, O best of Bharata, unto Tirtha, known by the name of Varadhana, where the Rishi Durvasa had given a boon unto Vishnu. A man, by bathing in Varadhana, obtained the fruit of the gift of 1,000 kine. One should next proceed with subdued senses and regulated diet to Dwaravati, where by bathing in the Pindaraka one obtaineth the fruit of the gift of gold in abundance. O blessed one, it is wonderful to relate that in that Tirtha to this day coins with the mark of the lotus and lotuses, also with the mark of the trident, are seen, O repressor of heroes. And O bull among men, the presence of Mahadeva is there. Arriving then, O Bharata, at the spot where the Sindhu mingled with the sea, one should with subdued soul bathe in that Tirtha of Varuna, and bathing there and giving oblations of water to the Pitris, the Rishis and the gods, one acquireth, O bull of the Bharata race, the region of Varuna, and blazed forth in effulgence of his own. Men of wisdom say that by worshipping the god known by the name of Shankukarneshwara, one acquires 10 times the merit of the horse sacrifice. O bull of the Bharata race, having walked round that Tirtha, one should, O thou foremost of the Kurus, go to that Tirtha celebrated over the three worlds and known by the name of Drimi. That Tirtha cleanseth from every sin, and it is there that the gods, including Brahma, worship Maheshwara. Having bathed there and worshipped Rudra, surrounded by the other gods, one is freed from all sins. Since birth, it was there, O best of men, that Drimi was adored by all the gods. Bathing there, O best of men, one obtained the fruit of the horse sacrifice. O thou of great intelligence, Vishnu, the creator of the universe, after slaying the Daityas and Dhanavas, went thither to purify himself. O virtuous one should next proceed to Vasudhara, adored by all. The moment one arrives at the Tirtha, one acquireth the fruit of the horse sacrifice. And O thou best of the Kurus, by bathing there with subdued soul and rapt attention, and giving oblations of water unto the gods and the Pitris, one ascendeth unto the region of Vishnu, and is adored there. In that Tirtha, O bull of the Bharata race, there is a sacred lake of the Vasus. By bathing there and drinking of its water, one becometh regarded of the Vasus. There is a celebrated Tirtha of the name of Sindhuthama, which destroyeth every sin, O best of men. By bathing there, one acquireth the fruit of the gift of God in abundance. By arriving at Bhadratunga with sanctified soul and purity of conduct, one acquireth the region of Brahma and a house state of blessedness. There is then the Tirtha of the Kumarikas of Indra, that is much resorted to by the Siddhas. O best men, by bathing there, one obtained the region of Indra. In Kumarika, there is another Tirtha called Renuka, which is also resorted to by the Siddhas. A Brahmana, by bathing there, would become as bright as the moon. Proceeding next to the Tirtha called Panchananda, with subdued sense and regulated diet, one obtained the fruit of the 5 sacrifices that have been mentioned one after another in the scriptures. Then, O king, one should go to the excellent region of Bhima, O best of the Bharatas, by bathing in the Tirtha there, that is called Yoni. A man in his next birth becometh, O king, the son of a goddess, bearing earrings decked with pearls, and obtaineth also the merit of the gift of 100,000 kine. Proceeding next to Sri Kunda, celebrated over the 3 worlds and worshipping the grandsire, one obtained the fruit of the gift of 1,000 kine. O virtuous one should then go to the excellent Tirtha called Vimala, where to this day may be seen fishes of golden and silver hooves. By bathing there, one soon acquireth the region of Vasava, and his soul being cleansed from every sin, he attained to a high state of blessedness. Proceeding next to Vitasta and giving oblations of water unto the Pitris and gods, a man, O Bharata, obtained the fruit of a Vajapeya sacrifice. That sin-destroying Tirtha, known by the name of Vitasta, is situated in the country of the Kashmiras, and is in the abode of the Nagatakshaka. Bathing there, a man certainly obtained the fruit of Vajapeya sacrifice, and his soul cleansed from his every sin. He attaineth to a high state of blessedness. One should next proceed to Vadava, celebrated over the 3 worlds. Bathing there with due rites in the evening, one should offer rice boiled in butter and milk, according to the best of his might, unto the deity of 7 flames. Men of wisdom say that a gift made here in honor of the Pitris becometh inexhaustible. The Rishis, the Pitris, the gods, the Gandharvas, several tribes of Apsaras, the Guhyakas, the Kinnaras, the Yakshas, the Siddhas, the Vidyadharas, the Rakshasas, Daityas, Rudras, and Brahma himself, O king, having with subdued senses accepted a course of austerities for 1,000 years in order to move Vishnu to grace, cooked rice in milk and butter, and gratified Keshava with oblations, each offered with 7 ricks. And O king, gratified Keshava thereupon conferred on them the eightfold attributes called Aishwarya and other objects that they desired, and having bestowed upon them these, that God disappeared in their sight like lightning in the clouds. And it is for this, O Bharata, that the Tirtha became known by the name of Saptacharu, and if one offered charu there to the 7-flamed deity, he obtained merit superior to that of the gift of 100,000 kine, to that of 100 Rajasuya sacrifices, as also of 100 horse sacrifices. Leaving Vadava, O king, one should then proceed to Raudrapada, and beholding Mahadeva, there one obtaineth the merit of the horse sacrifice. Proceeding then with subdued soul, and leading a brahmacharya mode of life to Manimat, and residing there for one night, one acquireth, O king, the merit of Agnishottama sacrifice. One should then go, O king, to Devika, celebrated over the whole world. It was there, O bull of Bharata race, that has heard by us, the Brahmanas first sprang into existence. There also is the region of the holder of the trident, a region that is celebrated over the world, having bathed in Devika and worshipped Maheshwara by offering him to the best of one's might, rice boiled in milk and butter. A man obtaineth, O bull of the Bharata race, the merit of a sacrifice that is capable of filling every desire. There also is another Tirtha of Rudra called Kamakya, which is much resorted to by the gods. Bathing there, a man speedily obtains success by touching also the water of Yajana. Vahuka and Pushpamva, one becometh free from sorrow in afterlife. The learned have said that the sacred Tirtha of Devika, the resort of the gods and the rishis, is 5 yojanas in length and half a yojana in breadth. One should then in due order proceed, O king, to Dirghastara. There the gods with Brahma at their head, the Siddhas and the greatest rishis, with regulated vows and the recitation and acceptance of the preliminary pledge, perform the long extending sacrifice. O king, by going only to Dirghastra, O repressor of foes, one obtaineth merit that is superior, O Bharata, to that of Rajasuya or the horse sacrifice. One should next proceed with subdued senses and regulated diet to Vinasana, where Saraswati, disappearing on the breast of Meru, reappeareth at Chamasa, Shivodbheda and Naga Bheda. Bathing in Chamosho Bheda, one obtaineth the merit of Agnoshtama sacrifice. Bathing in Shivodbhada, one acquireth the merit of the gift of 1,000 kine. And bathing in Nagodbheda, one obtaineth the region of the Nagas. One should proceed next to the inaccessible Tirtha of Shasayana, where the cranes, O Bharata, disappearing in the form of Sasas, reappear every year in the month of Kartika, and bathe, O blessed chief of the Bharata race, in the Saraswati, Bathing there, O tiger among men, one blazeth forth like the moon, and obtaineth, O bull of the Bharata race, the merit of the gift of 1,000 kine. One should next proceed, O thou of the Kuru race, to Kumarakoti, with subdued senses, and bathing there, worship the gods and the Pitris. By doing this, one obtaineth the merit of the gift of 10,000 kine, and raiseth all his ancestors to higher regions. One should next, O virtuous one, proceed with subdued soul to Rudrakoti, where in olden days, O king, 10 millions of munis had assembled, and O king, filled with great joy the prospect of beholding Mahadeva, the rishis assembled there, each saying, I will first behold the god, I will first behold the god. And O king, in order to prevent disputes amongst those rishis of subdued souls, the Lord of Yoga, by the help of his yoga power, multiplied himself in 10 million forms and stood there before every one of them. And every one of them, these rishis, said, I have seen him first, and gratified, O king, with the deep devotion of those munis of subdued souls. Mahadeva granted them a boon, saying, From this day your righteousness shall grow, and O tiger among men, one that bathes with a pure mind, in Rudrakoti obtaineth the merit of the horse sacrifice, and delivereth his ancestors. One should next proceed, O king, to that highly sacred and celebrated region where the Saraswati mingles with the sea. Thither, O king, the gods with Brahma at their head, and rishis with the wealth of asceticism, prepare for adoring Keshava on the 14th day of the lighted fortnight of the month of Chaitra. Bathing there, tiger among men, one obtaineth the merit of giving away gold in abundance, and his soul being cleansed from every sin, he ascendeth to the region of Brahma. It is there, O king, that the rishis have completed many a sacrifice. By a trip to that spot, one obtaineth the merit of the gift of 1,000 kine. Thus endeth the 82nd section in the Tirtha-yatra Parva of the Vana Parva.